What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds.
Alexa, shut the music off.
Welcome to the awakening world.
Alexa, go home. Alexa.
Good evening, everybody. I am your host for The Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas, and I want to welcome everybody who's watching. I see a lot of our dear friends that are already here in the Zoom room with us. And tonight's going to be a really wonderful night, a chance to interact a lot with two of my favorite people that I'm learning so much from. Pato and Antoinette are in the house, and they just got back from multiple trips to Africa. They were just in the UK, came home 2 nights ago, and they've got so much to share with us. So they are my co-pilots for the evening. I'm going to pretty much turn the show over to them. They've got a lot to share. But before we get to that, I want to invite people to come and join us. And I want to acknowledge, thank you, John and Summer Raymer, who were on this show last night. They get us out to over 100 Facebook groups and pages through the Sign Network. So thank you, John and Summer. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook, come on in and join us. It's really easy to do that. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, and register. You'll see a little register button right down here, and that will take you to our registration page. You know, we do 3 or more shows every week. So for example, last night we had Chief Phil, John, and Summer on, and we talked all about enlightening our way together and what that really looks like, and ended up having some amazing surprise guests. Of course, this is tonight's show, all about the spirit of Ubuntu, and we're going to hear about it from Pato and Antoinette. We have beautiful videos from Desmond Tutu and Obama talking about this, and some beautiful music videos, including Quajo and Pato. And then tomorrow, it's up close and personal with our dear beloved friends, the Twin Ray, really asking them all the questions people have wanted to know about this very unique couple. For me, it's pretty amazing. I'm with like my 3 favorite couples. Last night, John and Summer. Tonight, Pato and Antoinette. Tomorrow, the Twin Ray. I just realized that. That's pretty cool. I feel blessed. I also feel blessed to see we've got friends from all over. We've got people in Norway, Ecuador, El Salvador, New York, the United Kingdom, the Pacific Northwest, Virginia, Tucson, Arizona. It's really beautiful to have all of you with us. So we're going to go right into a really beautiful video that kind of, I think, usually, you know, we always start with music. Oftentimes we'll start with music from Omashar or one of our, guest musical artists. Well, this is a video from our very beloved Pato, who's right here with us. And I think it's a great way to start the show. So let's all go to Africa together. Wow. Wow. I'm going to go to gallery view. Let's all give some twinkling. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
Just fabulous. Wow. Mm. Well, here they are, Pato and Antoinette, fresh from multiple trips to Africa and the UK.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what this evening is all about.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, what we're doing this evening is we are presenting to the viewers and our family, our global family, an update of what we have been doing over the past 3 months with our 3 phases of multiple trips to Africa. And we just got back from the UK after a week of visiting family. So we're jet lagged, but we're getting some rest right now, and we're very excited and really happy to do this show with you, Scott, and to present the Ubuntu mission update to everyone on this show. We'll also be featuring Kudzai and Ansa, our camera crew from Zimbabwe. We'll also be talking to Kwajo Spiri, and we'll also be featuring some amazing music from Omar Shah.
Beautiful. You know, the awakening world is all about coming into oneness. And I did not know the word Ubuntu until you introduced it to me. And so over the last few days, I've been kind of scrolling and looking, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, it's like the word in Africa. It is like the word. And as I listened to Obama and Desmond Tutu and other people talking about what it means, I realize it's probably as important a word as there is on the entire planet, because it does sum up what I think all the people on this show watching believe and are feeling. And you're making a documentary about it. So I think let's take a look at what Bishop Desmond Tutu has to say about this powerful word.
Okay.
Let me tell you, we have something in our African community, something that is very difficult to put into English. It is called Ubuntu. Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the essence of being human. And it says, a solitary human being is a contradiction in terms. I can't be a human being on my lonesome. I wouldn't know how to speak as a human being. I wouldn't know how to think as a human being. I wouldn't know how to walk as a human being. I have to learn from other human beings how to be human. And so Ubuntu says, my humanity is bound up in yours. I am only because you are. And we then say, a person is a person through other persons. And that we need this communal harmony if we're going to survive at all. And anger and revenge and bitterness are corrosive of this harmony. And you know it. You've experienced how when you are really angry with someone, it does something to your tum-tum. and you, it does something to your blood pressure. So forgiving is actually not being altruistic. You're not being nice to the other guy. When you forgive, you're actually being nice to yourself. Forgiving, apart from anything else, is good for your health.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I love that. So it's like the understanding that what is said, you can only be a human by learning how to be a human through other humans. We need each other, and we are so intricately connected.
I think, and also too, the reason why we felt it was so important, especially at this time, right now, right when we came home from all of our trips, because we had been touring before. Besides Africa, we were also doing our musical touring in and out in between. As soon as we got home from Africa, it was like back out again. We were touring in Florida, we were touring in Hawaii, we were touring in Mexico, and touring everywhere else. And California, there was no time for anything. And then for these last 2 days, it's like I finally had 2 days in our own home. And for the first time, I was actually able to watch the TV, and I actually watched this documentary called Generation Wealth on Prime. If you haven't seen it, I'm telling everybody, go out and watch this film, because it's really the reason why we had to go and shoot this documentary called Ubuntu, because the way that humanity is progressing forward in the age of consumerism, in the age of materialism, and the age of the selfish, capitalism, the unfettered, all these different things. It's like you could sit there and see like the demise of humanity. And it's like, what can we actually do that can actually change things? And after our experiences and actually finding this trip and talking to these individuals and seeing all these amazing things, it's like, yes, this philosophy can change the world. This philosophy can change humanity. It's not just for Africa. It is something that could change for the rest of us. It's like humanity is either going to rise up and progress, like our native brothers and indigenous people have been saying. We can either go in two directions, this way towards light and life, or like down the tubes. And it's like this philosophy is, I believe, is the ultimate philosophy, which is also the good news, which is also the golden rule, which is also a lot of different philosophies. We just have a lot of different names. But if this is a quick and easy way, Ubuntu, then let's call it what it is, Ubuntu.
Already I'm just delighted with the start of the show and so many of the comments coming into our chat box. So I just want to acknowledge there's a lot of beautiful comments coming in from people that are already deeply touched by Pato's video, by what Desmond Tutu has to say, by what you both have had to say, and the spirit of this. It's very, very, very beautiful. I'm just going to read a couple of the comments, and everybody, I appreciate every comment. I can't read them all, but I'm going to read a few that just jump out. Dia Therese writes, maximum blessings. Thank you, Scott, for replays. I will be playing this show over and over. I love it. Mark is asking, what's the name of the film that you just mentioned? I'll put it in the chat box. What's the name of it?
It's called Generation Wealth, and it was on Amazon Prime. And the director, which is a filmmaker, is also a photographer. Her name is Lauren Greenfield.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to find the link and drop it in there. I mean, it's amazing. Everybody should watch this. Everybody should watch this and then come and watch our documentary.
Beautiful. All right. Well, while you all kind of catch up on some of the comments in the chat box and put in more, you've all seen Kwajo. He's been on this show a few times. Kwajo was just on a couple of weeks ago. Kristen Hoffman, every 2 months, does a show with her Artists Catalyzing Evolution. And Kwajo actually was with us live, but he's in Ghana, and right now it's the middle of the night there. So, but we're going to see a beautiful video that he and Pato and Antoinette did. I believe, Antoinette, you directed this video.
We both did.
Yeah.
And yeah, we both did. We both are directing. We were out there because Quadro met Pato online on Facebook, actually.
Okay.
And then, so you want to tell the story?
Yeah,
All right.
Quadro and me connected on Facebook. I found out that Quadro was a fellow reader of the Urantia book and an outstanding musician. He said he would love to record with me one day. And I said to him, I'm booking my flight. So me and Antoinette agreed to go to Ghana to host a spiritual conference, to meet Quadro, to host a spiritual conference in Ghana where we brought Christians, Muslims, Urantia book readers, and atheists together at a beautiful arena.
Rasta Beach Resort.
And Rastafarians. And it was an amazing, amazing gathering. During that time, we also went into the hills of Ghana and went into a very dense forest and filmed much of the video up there and on the beach, and wrote the song together. Quadro prepared the song, and then I put my lyrics, and then Antoinette participated, and we just became friends. This was a few years ago.
This was way, this is 2015, 2014.
And since then, we visited them in Ghana maybe 3 times.
4 or 5 times.
We've hosted conferences over there, and Quadro has become one of our closest friends.
Yeah, he's dynamic, he's spiritual, he's intelligent. He's an engineer. I mean, there's a lot of fascinating things about Quadro.
Very amazing. So this is our song called Light Up the One Love.
All right, let's take a look.
One Love.
Filmed in Ghana, lighting by God. I hope everybody knows that. Lighting by God. Oh, that's beautiful. Hey, everybody, I'm going to go to gallery view. Let's all give them this. Here we go. We're lighting up the nation.
Nice one. Thank you.
Oh, that was really, really fun. What are the steps to create a video like that? Like, you write the music track first, add the lyrics. Then once you know what the lyrics are, do you create a shot sheet to get all your shots to edit? How do you
That's a good idea, a shot sheet.
Well, no, with this particular video, no, we didn't.
We
do
just
that.
winged it.
What happened with this particular song, Quadro Spirit wrote the song and left some spaces for us.
Mhm.
Then we filled those spaces with our lyrical content. And then I'm not sure, did you play music on this then as well?
No,
All right.
Quadro
So
did all the music.
If the music isn't finished, Antoinette would normally put some music and I would put the lyrics, but the music was kind of done on this one. So I put the lyrical content, Antoinette put the backing vocals, and then we sent him the final recording.
Mhm.
And then when we flew over there, because there's actually 2 versions to this video.
Mhm.
There's one that's shot in the jungle and one that's shot on the beach.
Uh-huh.
And because we had so much footage that I couldn't get it all into one video. So I said, I'm just going to do 2 separate videos. So there's this version and there's another one that is more themed around the Urantia circles and symbology
yeah.
and the ocean. But this one is very powerful too. And so all we did was we just took our cameras,
Mm.
and me and Antoinette actually were responsible for filming the whole thing. And we just took our cameras up to the jungle and we just started shooting, and all the extra people that you see in the video, they just turned up. They were just unseen, saw us
People that we
filming
just saw randomly.
randomly, and we just said, come and join us.
Yeah, it's like, do you guys want to be in the video?
And
They're
so,
like,
so they just joined us. There was no real planning
Mhm.
on how it was going to be, but you know,
All I know is when I saw the helicopter, I just said the helicopter's got to be in the shot.
yeah, that was a very
And then when I
nice-
saw the trees, I was like, we got to shoot by the trees. I said, that's the money shot. We got to put the camera down there. We're just winging everything.
Well, you give good wing. You definitely give good wing. Well, And now thank you for helping, because Kwajo, when he showed this video, he showed the one with the beach. And that's
Okay.
when I saw this, I was like, wait a minute. So I've seen the one with the beach, and we've had it on one of these shows. So, well, speaking of Kwajo, he was so excited that we were doing an entire show dedicated to the two of you. And so here is a pre-record that I did with him just 2 days ago. Actually, yesterday. We did it yesterday. So here's what Kwajo has to say, a message for and about Pato and Antoinette. Here we go. Kwajo, coming all the way from Ghana. And Kwajo, first of all, thank you for taking some time to be with us. We've watched your video. It's beautiful, as always. What does the spirit of Ubuntu mean to you?
Thank you so much, Scott, for this opportunity to say a few words about this very important subject and word, African word. Ubuntu means a lot. Ubuntu was a word that came into being very long time ago. I mean, by my ancestors, my African ancestors. And anytime I try to ponder or think deeply into this word, it gives me chills, because it makes me realize a lot of things which once upon a time, our ancestors knew, but over a period of time, has been dormant for a while. But in recent times or in recent years, we are beginning to rediscover the meaning of this all important and deep, phrase or word, Ubuntu. Ubuntu simply means I exist because you are, or you exist because I am. So in actual fact, Ubuntu is trying to make humanity recognize the oneness of all things, and humanity is trying to make Ubuntu is trying to remind us of the fact that everything is interconnected one way or the other. All of creation, be it creation on the physical level or on the mental level, on the spiritual level, everything is interconnected, and so all is one. And so what you see out there mostly is a reflection of yourself. And so what happens to you normally is what you have actually thrown into the universe, and then it comes back to you. So you throw your thoughts out there, and then it comes back to you, and then it is actioned in your life. So Ubuntu, and you see, this is what gives me the chills, that our ancestors were able to reason to such an extent that they came to the realization of this reality of oneness and chose to evolve or to bring out a word which describes this. Because if you want to describe how the universe operates, or if you want to describe the oneness of all things, you can only come up with adjectives to describe it. Like if you want to describe God, you always will come up with adjectives, because you are trying to describe an infinite being with finite words. You cannot describe an infinite reality with words pertaining to finitude. So our ancestors thought of coming up with a word that is so heavy, so deep, so reflective enough to describe infinity or to describe the oneness of all things. So they came up with the word Ubuntu. And I haven't found in any language existing on earth today which tries as much as possible to describe in-depthly, the oneness of all things, or they try to bring out a way to describe the infinite nature of God, or the infinite nature of reality, or how everything is intertwined into one. So one aspect of Ubuntu that we can look at is that whatever I do to you, I do to myself. And I try to say this on my music a lot. I mean, if you listen to my albums or on many of the music I've actually produced or come out with, I try to make this concept known a lot, because I feel it's an all-important concept which every human being should get to know, that all is one, and that what you actually do to another, you are doing to yourself. So you are actually reflecting or projecting your thoughts out there, and you are seeing your movie, but in actual fact, everything is in here. So what I do to you, I do to myself, my brother, and stuff like that. If you listen to my lyrics, I keep repeating this a lot, because I know how very important this fundamental reality is, and like if you get it right, everything seems to fall in place in your life. So Ubuntu means a lot to me because it cannot even be defined, you know. So when we are giving the meaning of Ubuntu, we keep it very, very short, you know. We just say that you are because I am because you are, and in this simple phrase, everything hovers around it, you know. The oneness is the centrality, and all other concepts of life, all other concepts in the cosmos, all other concepts in the universe exist or revolves around this oneness of all things. So that is how deep we can go with the word Ubuntu, you know. Ubuntu, universality of things, the communalism of things, that we should live in community, we should be unified, we should have mankind government, we should see ourselves as one. We should let the golden rule apply to all things. You know, that is one aspect, you know, like the golden rule should apply to all things. If we live, if this world achieves, you know, living based on the golden rule, then the principles of Ubuntu are actually coming into place. So it can get deeper and deeper and deeper. We can talk all day about Ubuntu, because it is just like talking about God or trying to define God. We can go to the farthest extent and we can never finish, you know, exhausting talking about that reality or concept. That is what Ubuntu actually is to me. You know, it is very, very deep, and the world should begin to embrace Ubuntu, because that is what the world needs to actually, you know, be on its grounds to ensure peace, to let peace prevail, you know, to let goodwill and love prevail. We must understand the concept of Ubuntu, imbibe it for this world to actually find, you know, its firm grounds of love, of truth, of beauty, of goodness. So yes, Ubuntu. I can keep going on and on and on, but I believe you get my drift.
Well, and it's beautiful, because what you're saying is what the world needs, you know. And we do need to really love by seeing ourselves in all other beings, and
That's
see
right.
all other beings within ourselves. And so I love that. And it is true. Every video I've seen of yours, and I think I've seen 4 or 5 of them now, they all have that spirit of love. And now I understand the spirit of Ubuntu in there. And now, of course, tonight, the show that you're airing on right now, Pato and Antoinette are my co-hosts. They're doing this beautiful documentary about the spirit of Ubuntu. They're watching what you're about to say. What do you have to say about working with Pato and Antoinette? How do they embody the spirit of Ubuntu for you?
Pato and Antoinette are actually good representations, or you know, they are very good representation of the word Ubuntu. I mean, whoever chose them to embark on this documentary have done a great job. I mean, he has seen the right pair to actually go around, and looking at the fact that they have African roots and the word is an African word, you know. Yes, they are the best couple or the best pair to actually you know, make this documentary come to life. Pato and Antoinette have been great. I mean, from day one, ever since, you know, I met them, the kind of spirit, you know, they have exhibited in their work is amazing. You know, they are some of the most lovely people you can work with, and some of the most industrious people you can actually work with. They are very hardworking. Pato and Antoinette are the definition of love in action. You know, yes, they are a very good example of love in action. And Pato is all about action. Pato always want to be on the field, always want to hit the road, always want to be on the streets, you know, spreading the good vibes and the good cheer. You know, Pato is also a very good, if you listen to his music, he's also a very good ambassador of the word Ubuntu. You know, Pato spreads the oneness, Pato spreads the love. Pato always wants to bring together communalism, wants to bring together, you know, oneness. It has been great. We have worked in Ghana, I've worked with them in Ethiopia, and all these places have been fantastic. We have done amazing work together. We have a beautiful video together. And if you watch like the video, it is all love, and cheers. You know, when they came to Ghana, everyone loved them. They were on the streets of Ghana, and people they have never met before, people they hardly knew, people they never knew where they came from, found them, identified them, and took them home. You know, they actually showed them a lot of love. They made genuine friends, which they had before never met. You know, that should tell you, you know, the big heart this couple has, you know, for the work like they actually do. So it's been love from day one. It's been great. I love their charisma. I love, you know, how industrious they are, how they put a lot of seriousness into whatever they do, and how they are able to entertain everyone. You know, they are able to bring everyone into the picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, irrespective of your background. I mean, they have friends in Ghana who are Muslims. You know, looking at their backgrounds, you know, you may think they wouldn't want to identify with people from other sects or religion, but no, they have such a diversified view of the world. They have such broad-mindedness that they are able to entertain people from all culture, from all races, from all beliefs, from all faith. You know what I'm saying? And I think it is partly due to their spiritual journey. Their spiritual journey has taken them to places that has opened up their hearts to be able to bring everyone in, to be able to see themselves in all kinds of people. You know, I see aspects of my personal journey in them as well. Because if I look at myself over the past few decades, you know, I have grown more outward. I have grown more liberal. I've learned to open up to all. I've learned to see myself even in an evil person, so that I can extend or project love onto like this person. Pato and Antoinette have been able to get to such levels that they are able to bring everyone in. They are able to show love. They are able to entertain all kinds of beings and, you know, personalities out there. You know, so
Beautiful.
when they are actually on the field and they are working, you will love them because of how they open up, you know, to receive everybody with such warmness and kindness. So yes, they are such an awesome pair. Yeah, amazing pair. I mean,
that is absolutely my experience as well. And
awesome.
Kwarjo, thank you so much for your time. I just want to remind everybody that he's got a great YouTube channel where you can find his albums and find a wonderful documentary. And so everybody, it's Kwarjo Spiri, Kwadjo, and then his second name, Spiri. And of course, we've just seen 2 of your videos, Kwarjo. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much for taking some time to be with us.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate, absolutely.
So that's Spiri like Siri. Kwadjo Spiri like Siri. And that very first video that you showed up on that playlist of I Am, that's actually my ringtone. It's a powerful affirmation. When you check out the words of that video, I mean, of that song, it's a powerful affirmation, and it's my ringtone. So every time I hear it, it's just like giving me powerful affirmations. And that day we shot the video was the hellish day, because it took us like 12 hours to actually get to the beach to shoot that video, which I shot with my GoPro, you know, in my hand and everything. It's pretty good. But that was very touching from him. And I want to say, you know, the guy that he's talking about that saw us in the street, because I caught it on film. It's in the very first video that we shot of Muhammad Aladu, the Prayers for Mama Africa. I'm walking down the street with my GoPro. So all that stuff you see walking down the street. And that's when this guy stops me on the street and he says, Pato and Antoinette. He goes, I follow you guys on Facebook. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. I mean, do you see how many people is on the streets in Accra, Ghana? I mean, it's like, there's so many people. And this dude just stops me in the middle of the street. There's literally thousands of people on the street, and he stops me on the street and he says, it's Pato and Antoinette. So we took him along with us. We invited him back to the hotel and we threw him in the music video. And we've been friends with him ever since. You know, I taught his son how to swim. He makes bracelets for us and everything. His name is Bright. He's awesome.
So I just wanted to share something regarding my definition of Ubuntu. And some people may or may not know but me and Antoinette were nominated as ambassadors of the Golden Rule by Ambassador Musi in Ethiopia for the United Religions Initiative. So we are officially now ambassadors of the Golden Rule. And we are also ministers and ambassadors of the good news, you know, that we're all God's children, brothers and sisters. We also promote Namaste. We understand that there is a spark of divinity in everyone, and that the more we get in touch with our own spark of divinity within ourselves, is the more we begin to recognize that same spark of divinity within every other person that we come into contact with. And with these three beautiful concepts, once we embarked on the Ubuntu journey, it was very obvious to us that Ubuntu fits beautifully in place with all of these concepts. And somebody asked, how does Ubuntu relate to gay people? And I just wanted to say that Ubuntu relates to every person, regardless of your color, creed, sexuality. Once we recognize that we are all children of the universe, if you want to have a broad picture of it, once we recognize that we're all genetically, biologically, physically, spiritually, cosmically related, you recognize that we have one global family, which actually stretches out into the universe. And yes, there is prejudice on our planet. There's prejudice in America, there's prejudice in China, there's prejudice in Africa, you know, but humanity is still, I believe, in its infancy. We've only just learned how to use electricity. We're just about to get electric cars. You know, we're just learning a lot of things, and we still have a lot more to learn. We're just taking a deeper look into the universe. For the first time, we're really getting beautiful images and seeing a lot of new things. We're on the verge of something very new. So, you know, we are very hopeful for a brighter future. We are confident in a brighter future. And it takes every person on this planet to become more self-forgetting and more all-embracing for us to really bring about change. And not so much that we are responsible for that change, as much as being vessels for that change and allowing the Spirit to work through us by becoming more and more transparent for us to be usable by Spirit to bring about more love, more peace, more understanding, more justice, and more progress on our planet.
Yep. Thanks,
Let's just breathe that in for a minute, because there's so much you just shared, Pato. That's thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Beckwith, who's on the show sometimes, has a phrase. He'll come up on stage, he'll say, I've been well used by life today, or God has used me well today. And I'm thinking of that, and it's true. It's a good feeling when we've been used well by higher power.
Amen.
And God is using you both very, very well.
He's an awesome guy and character as well too, that we've been lucky to run into him just by accident. You know, remember we was walking down the streets in Leimert Park in LA, and we're just minding our own business, walking down the street during some reggae festival, and there's Michael Beckwith walking down the street with his wife, and we're in a conversation and we're talking and everything, and we're telling him about the Rancher book, and he tells us that he used to teach it in his living room.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah. The whole philosophy concepts and everything. And that's what's really fascinating and astounding, because throughout this entire trip, besides Quadro, also like even how we initiated starting to do this documentary, and have and some of the people that we're interviewing and are part of this documentary as well too. So these concepts are, you know, Ubuntu, you know, the good news, the golden rule, Urantia, all these things are all part of each other. They're all coinciding with each other and part of this awakening world or this global tribe. You know, it's the same thing.
I want to read a couple comments and then actually have a couple of questions that have come in for you. But just Andrew and Connie, who, by the way, congratulations. Andrew and Connie are getting married on December 20th. So congratulations to you both.
Congratulations.
Andrew writes, Pato and Antoinette are catalyzing the joy and the love of all creation and is awaiting us to release into the universe. Yes, Pato, this is Andrew continuing, or Connie, we are bringing something onto the planet that has never been here through the opening of the human heart and aligning with the love therein. Beautiful. Mark Denisovsky writes, I feel the love and understanding radiating off my computer monitor from Antoinette and Pato. Ubuntu is a frequency that we can all feel. The first indicator is their beautiful smile. Dr. Laura, of course, in reference to what we spoke about a moment ago, writes, prejudice is ignorance, no question about it. It's just a limited worldview. There's a question that came in actually from somebody on Facebook. I'm asking, and I see that you just put the link in, but go ahead. You've mentioned the Urantia book. For those who are not familiar with this very large book, it is epic. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about the Urantia book.
So the Urantia book is 2,097 pages. That's broken into 4 parts, basically talking about who God is and who he is in the universe. It breaks down the whole hierarchy of the angels, of the hierarchy of the universe, you know, all the roles that they play. It talks about the universes of universes, the 7 super universes, all the different universes in between. It talks about the history of this planet, which they call it Urantia. It talks about the missing years of Jesus Christ, you know, from the time that he was in the universe before he actually became a man and then going back into the universe. And then it also talks about the other religions as well, too, you know, Buddhism and Islam and Christianity and Taoism and different things, you know. So it talks about history and it talks about evolution. It talks about science, it talks about cosmos. It talks about truth, beauty, and goodness, all the things that are true, beauty, and good to us.
And if I was to summarize it, it basically says that the great challenge, the last page of this big book says, the great challenge to men and women is to develop a greater communication with the spirit that dwells within your mind. And that true religion is your personal experience with your God.
Your indwelling adjuster, right? Oh,
with God.
With God.
True
Okay.
religion is your personal experience with your God.
Beautiful. I'm imagining most of the people watching this can relate very strongly to that. Thank you.
And I think that's also important too, because, you know, like with a lot of people that we work with, especially sitting in this room with all the people from Unity Earth, from the URI, from Unify, from all the different things, even from the very first parliament that we had done from before then, that was the thing about us, is that we're not selling anybody anything. You know, it's like at the Parliament of World's Religion, everybody who's been there knows that's like the Disney, the Comic-Con, you know, the religious con of everybody's religion being sold out there. But it's like, hey, we're here for everybody. Everybody who's got a religion or don't have one, we're here for you. Everybody is welcome with us with the Urantia book.
Yeah,
Everybody.
we don't. There's no need to convert people to a book. A book is just a book. And if everyone's religion is personal, you can't convert somebody to their own personal religion. All you can do is encourage everybody to continue to grow within their own faith.
And what's that? What do you say? When you grow in your own faith, eventually you'll grow out of your faith.
If you grow in your religion, eventually you will outgrow it.
you'll
that
outgrow
becomes
it
spiritual.
and become spiritual. And that's where all of us are going to meet out of our personal religions into the spiritual place where we can all
Where
be there
there's no
together.
need for debating about what we believe. Truth will just become truth.
Right.
Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, tell us a little bit about what we're about to see next, the December 3rd trailer. So what are we about to see next?
All right.
I think we was going to talk about how the project started.
Yeah.
Basically, a good friend of ours who is responsible for the Charter of Compassion.
He's a member of, he's
He's on the board. He's a professor. His name is Gar Jameson. He's also sits on the board of trustees for the Uransha Foundation. He's also trying to be very discreet and in the background, but I have to sing his praises because he's responsible for funding the documentary, and he was the one that came and told us that he had met Nelson Mandela
and Desmond Tutu.
and Desmond Tutu during a trip to South Africa, and that he learned about Ubuntu during that trip. And it was his vision and dream to present Ubuntu to the world through a documentary, but he was waiting for the right people to travel across Africa to reach some of the dynamic people who are practicing Ubuntu in very unique ways. And he chose me and Antoinette, basically. And we were very honored and accepted immediately because it was something that we were also dreaming about doing, not about Ubuntu, but we wanted to travel across Africa just to spread the good news that we're all God's children, brothers and sisters, and just to meet different African people and learn more about the culture across Africa. So this was an ideal opportunity for us to go to 12 different countries and have all of our expenses covered and be in a position to also help people and make donations along the way, which was very, very beautiful. And so we learned about Ubuntu from God, educated ourselves. God asked me to be the project coordinator, so I had to pull it all together. Antoinette became the travel coordinator and the interviewer of all the people that we met. And then God introduced us to the camera crew that we would be working with in Zimbabwe. And then once we met them online, I scheduled the phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 over a 3-month period. And it had to be that way because we was already on an American tour and we had to fit the project around that tour. So we was working non-stop, touring America, touring Africa, flying back, touring America, flying back to Africa. This has been a very arduous task. And this was also during a time where Antoinette's cancer was at its peak, where she should have really been resting. And I said to her, well, baby, you've got a choice. You can stay at home for 3 months and work on your health, or you can die on the road doing what you love to do. And she says, I'm going to die on the road.
I'm not staying home and not going to
She said,
Africa when I'm in
So I couldn't leave her at home. I tried, but she said she would rather die doing what she loves and being of service than staying at home being safe. And I agreed with her, and we managed to do it. You know, we did the whole tiring project, but it was such an enjoyable, beautiful, inspiring, eye-opening, motivating journey. And what you're going to see right now is just a small clip that Kudzai and Ansa put together as just a taster, just a taster. This is not from the documentary. Nothing you're seeing today is from the documentary. Some of it's just from our phones that we're sharing. Some of it's from the editors, the directors themselves. This next piece is from the directors, so the quality is better than what you see from our phones. But this is just something they put together yesterday for this show, just to give people a small taste of what's to come.
All right, let's take a look. I'm excited. Wow. Wow. What a great trailer.
That's the first time that's been seen by anyone.
I told you these guys are brilliant. I mean, it's like there's no way you could put all of that into this one little documentary. I'm telling you, they would have to do 12 or 20 or
We did
something
everything we filmed.
from everything that we filmed, because we were all filming nonstop. I mean, all of our cameras were out, all of our drones were out, all of our GoPros were, I mean, everything. And there was so many stories to tell. You can't capture everything, you know.
I'm going to read just some of the comments coming in. That was fantastic. I cannot wait to see the entire film.
Mhm.
You guys really hit a lot of countries.
Yes.
This show keeps bringing me to tears, wonderful tears. Big work. I love African dance with the high energy and leg movement. Powerful, inspiring. Wow, 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 wow. Those are all from like 8 different people that I just get, you know.
And you can only imagine, you know, we faced a lot of challenges. You know, that's something that we haven't really spoken about.
Wow, yeah.
But you know, I remember when we did phase 1,
Mhm.
we were so exhausted,
Mhm.
and we had to go through the immigration challenges,
Mhm.
the customs and excise challenges, the challenges at the airports, the security checks, a lot of different things that we had to go through, plus rendezvousing with 2 people from Zimbabwe, making sure that they were taken care of throughout the trip and getting them home safely. And then when we got home for phase 2, we realized that we didn't have our visas yet. About 5 days before the trip, I looked at my passport and I saw like 6 pages. I thought I was fine. And Antoinette says, Pato, none of these pages are pages for your visa. They're just note pages. So I didn't have not even 1 page to put 5 visas in for the phase 2 trip. So we scrambled 5 days before phase 2 to go to 5 countries. And we managed to get every visa in time, plus a new passport.
Mhm. Expedited within I mean, nobody's getting passports these days. People do not understand how difficult things are. But one thing that the Urantia book always says is that when you're doing God's will, that the angels will move heaven and earth to make it happen. You know, so it's like no matter whatever we're doing, it's like as long as it's not anything that's selfish or personal or whatever, it's whatever that we're doing for, it doesn't matter what we're doing, as long as it's in the line of God's will, things are going to happen. And things were difficult.
Yeah.
People do not understand. We've traveled the world. When you have an American passport, you can travel to the UK, to Japan, to anywhere without visas. In Africa, you have to have a visa in every single country. Every single country. And in every single country, you have to, the things that the hoops that they make you go through.
A lot of them are trying to hustle you.
The hustling, the bonding,
yeah.
all of those things. And it's like, and it was difficult, like I said, because here I am trying to travel and trying to maintain my health and trying to maintain my anxiety, my stress, and being lifted, which I'm totally being lifted by the trip because it's Africa. I always feel alive when I go to Africa. That's the reason my name is called Roots Data. Getting back to my roots. Anybody who knows anything about roots, seen roots and knows my story about roots and why my name is Roots, it's all about my connection with Africa. And they just make it so hard and so difficult.
But even through all of that,
Mhm.
we still managed to have an amazing time.
I'm ready to go back again. It's like, that's our life now. It's like, but I wanted to say too, this also too, everything that you're seeing, it's not like all of your documentaries that you've seen about Africa. And that's one of the things that with these directors, because they shot a lot of stuff for UNICEF and all these different organizations. And the whole thing, when it comes to like, Ubuntu is not like just charity. You know, it's not another thing. If you give your $2 a month or your $20 a month, you know, you're going to feed this child, you know, for the whatever. It's not that. it's definitely not that. And I know that's why people sit there and feel like when they look at Africa, they just sit there and think, oh, here's just another nation that we just have to keep giving money to keep them alive, and those poor starving people and stuff like that. It is not what you think it is.
It's going to be, there's
It's
a lot of people who
totally-
are very self-sufficient.
It's exactly. And that's one of the things that what people don't understand about what Ubuntu really is. It's about how they're kind of working together and lifting each other up. It's not because I feel sorry for you, so I'm going to help you out. No, they've got bigger plans. They've got dreams. They've got aspirations. They've got.
But it also includes lifting someone up when you're in a position to help someone who's less well off than you. So there is some charity involved. There is some giving to the downtrodden, to the needy, you know, but there's also trying to help everyone to become self-sufficient.
There's a spirit of cooperation.
Yes.
There's also that, you know, the spirit of cooperation where everybody, because when you're around people who want to see you succeed, everybody wants to succeed. When I'm in Vegas and I'm playing roulette 23, if I don't win, I want everybody to win. As long as somebody's winning, we all win. You know, that's the kind of feeling for me.
Yeah, we just got to get the spirit of Ubuntu when you win.
You know, I want to acknowledge what I'm hearing you saying, because there is a lot of built-in prejudice, especially in white culture, that paints this picture of the poor, pathetic Africans who are less intelligent, less money, less, and then the wonderful white people are going to be generous. And there is this incredible built-in prejudice that we've seen from so many movies and so many, where even, you know, it's the great white Bwana who comes in to help the poor little Black people. And I just want to acknowledge that that's a really, I'm going to say it's a really fucked up prejudice that most of us have been raised with in 101 different ways. I mean, even Tarzan, King of the Jungle, is a white man, right? So thank you for educating us about, hey, think again. You know, Africa is Kwajo. Africa is the, you know, what we're seeing in your videos, that's Africa. And, you know, it's beautiful, and it just breaks my heart wide open in wonderful ways.
You know, some of those buildings that you saw, you know, like some of the structures, some of the places that we visited that people would never actually believe. You know, we've coming out of the pandemic and out of COVID and everything, the world has changed a lot. Africa, the amount of development, a few years ago, we went to Ethiopia with Kwajo, with Unity Earth, with a whole group of people. Connie and Andrew were there, evolutionary leaders were there. A lot of people have seen what we didn't see. If you see what's there now from just 4 years, it's completely different. So many of these countries, the development is happening. Like they got new science museums, they got new high-speed rails. There's things that we don't even have here in America that they've got over there. We don't have high-speed rails in America. We don't have 64% women in our Congress. We don't have, you know, a cabinet full of women doing this or different stuff. So the rise of divine feminine is also happening in Africa too. So we're definitely going to be looking at the sleeping giant as she's awakening, as she's emerging, and as these great and beautiful things that are happening coming from Africa that can really, truly, and shape the world. But we won't know until these examples are being shown to the world, until we talk about it, until we share about it, and until we start removing the propaganda, the false propaganda and the false prejudices, you know, that people have about Africa and Africans and their contributions to humanity and to the rest of the world.
You know, something you recently educated me on when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, Antoinette, was Rwanda. You know, when we think of Rwanda, we just picture, you know, slaughter and massacre and blacks versus blacks, and that's all we've been told. And then you were sharing with me what's really happening there now. And you showed me these amazing images of this incredible city and how I believe you said the parliament is almost all women, which, and we all, I think most of us know now that we need the women to be leading, generally speaking. So tell us a little bit, because that was an education for me. Tell our audience for a moment a little bit about Rwanda, and then we're going to get to some fundraising for you.
Awesome. So I started interviewing. So like, I didn't believe that we were in Rwanda because all I kept thinking about was Hotel Rwanda and the Rwandan genocide and stuff. But when we got there, I said, this place is Black Beverly Hills. It looked like Black Laguna Beach. I'd never seen anything so gorgeous and so bougie, in Africa. I mean, I've seen bouginess in Africa, but it was just very different. And what I really liked about it, so I asked the woman, she was like the one of the women from the Bonvoy Marriott hotels. She was one of the general managers. She says, we clean. Women are so used to cleaning. And after the genocide of Rwanda back in the 90s, it's like we had to clean the country. So when the president had filled up his cabinet with women, all these women had decided this is what we need to do here. We need to start cleaning up the land in the country, like with the littering. We could not, me and the guys walked around for like 3 days looking for garbage, a cigarette butt. I mean, you can't even walk outside here in California and not find some type of garbage. The litter is out of control, not just in Africa, but in America, in India, in Africa, in Mexico. Doesn't matter where you are, there's always going to be litter. But you don't see any litter in Rwanda because it's against the law. They said the changes were uncomfortable, but it was necessary that they had to be made. So cleaning up, farming, utilizing the land. They said, we have to utilize this land. Everybody can grow. We have to sit there and substantiate how these people can sit there and substantiate their food, their income, all the different ideas that these women are coming up with in order to sit there and help us sustain the people. The safety. This is a place that a woman can go and travel alone and be safe because everybody's looking out for each other. And the way that they have set up their laws, it's amazing. It's beautiful. So that's now our new thing me and Jane are doing. It's like going into Rwanda, going into Uganda, and staying in Wakanda.
Beautiful.
And anybody else who wants to go on this trip with us is always welcome to join us.
I would love to go with you on one of your trips to Africa. I've been fantasizing about that all night long. It's like, oh, please take me, please take me, please take me sometime. Because I have not been to Africa. All right, I can see everybody's very enthusiastic about what you're doing. We were blown away by the trailer. And hey, it takes money to do all of this. And so, of course, we're dedicating tonight's fundraising to supporting Pato and Antoinette. And I'm going to go briefly to the Jane campaign. And always when I see this image, this photograph, I'm going to read it. It's a sign that is being carried. It says, "My son is big, Black, and autistic. He does not respond to verbal commands. Please don't shoot him."
Scroll down some more. Yeah, you can see another picture of him now. This is him now. But when we first met him, he was only like 4 or 5 years old, but he's bigger now.
And this is what launched the Jane campaign. Of course, you've talked about it on the show before, but for people who don't know about it, tell them a little bit about this very important project that you're so involved in.
All right. So basically, after the George Floyd riots, and basically when you first had me on the show, this is how me and you started our relationship. We had done a protest in the city of Lake Elsinore. We didn't actually do the protest. We were asked to lead it after we were trying to ensure the community that no violence was going to happen. We're like, there's not going to be any rioting or looting within our city because we live here. But we end up actually leading the protest. And then after that, the police asked if they can march with us, for the next protest because they saw that there was nothing, bad that was going to happen. And we actually needed the police because there were people who were actually threatening to harm us, even though we were just having a protest, for Black Lives Matter. After that event, me and the lieutenant developed a relationship to where I said, listen, there's an issue because my friend Jane, she had moved all the way to Lake Elsinore from Long Beach because she wanted to be close to us. This is the part of the Spirit of Ubuntu. It takes a village to raise a family. She's a single mom of an autistic child. And anytime the police get called or something, you know, she's really without any help or support. And they had already just murdered and killed an adult autistic man and shot both the parents not too long ago, not too far from us. So I said, what can we do to sit there and like ensure that this won't happen again? I started developing this conversation with the lieutenant over at the Riverside County Sheriff's Department and initiated the Jane campaign, which started with additional registry and also the blue envelope. 2 years later, after going back and forth in my lobbying team and all my different things that we were doing, they actually did institute the 2 policies, but we still have to work together to sit there and like get it out there and to get the right representation. We have so much work to do because, you know, we're talking about dealing with the police and government institutions. Anyway, to make a long story short, we're getting into those things for next year, which we have a lot of that to do for MLK, which was part of the Jane campaign. But Jane is also in one of these videos. She's also in the documentary because Jane, turns out, as we were digging through all this stuff and we were supporting one of the organizations, she's from Rwanda. So she was going back over there, finding out who her family was, because there's a lot of stuff that happened during the genocide and why she got adopted. And she was adopted by one of these organizations, like the Grace Villa that we're about to see and everything. So she is, and we've been helping this place, but that story is now taking another story into the Jane campaign, to the work that's being done here in America, also to the work that's being done in Africa.
Beautiful. So I just put the link into the chat box, but for those watching on Facebook, it's standupforjustice.us, standupforjustice.us /Jane campaign. Or if you're just on the Stand Up for Justice site, which is right here, this is the main site, standupforjustice.us, and then click donate. And I want to really encourage everyone watching now to do that. Please go to standupforjustice.us and donate. I'm going to do it right now. And Antoinette knows when she's on the show, I always donate. And I'm going to log into my PayPal and make a donation. And I really want to encourage everyone to please do the same. Everyone, please, let's donate. Let's support this amazing work that they're doing. I always like to give 77.77. And let's all donate it, everybody. This is really important work. And I'm just going to say this is for Ubuntu. Am I pronouncing it correctly? I hope so.
Ubuntu.
It's such a beautiful word, such a beautiful word. So everybody, let's all do that. And while you're donating and while you're all following my lead, hopefully, our beloved brother Omashar has been here all along, and he's going to play some music. Omashar, before you play, what stands out for you from this show so far tonight?
I'm just humbled with the power of you two, Pato and Antoinette. You know, your love is so palpable, it's contagious. Just sitting here and basking in your presence and seeing some of the amazing travels that you've gone through and what you've just collected in your wake, because, you know, you are both goddess, God in action. And it's funny because something that Michael Beckwith said really helped me. He was talking about electricity, and without a light bulb, how can the electricity express itself? And I realized that I'm a light bulb. And it's you know, you just take away the mask of me and allow the truth of myself, ourselves, to flow through, and here it is. And so I'm going to sing a song that I wrote a couple of weeks ago, and let's just get down to that. Put a nice little background on me.
I like that background.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
awakening world is rising through our hearts, through our lives, as we take the next steps together, walking tall, no disguise. Here we are again, loving all we see, lift each other up, let each other be, healing all the past, healing you and me, loving all that's gone, and loving what's to be. Nothing left to say, nothing left to do. Let your spirit shine, let your spirit through. Time is what we have, time to think anew. Let inspiration flow, let inspiration through. The awakening world is rising through our hearts, through our lives, as we take the next steps together, walking tall, no disguise. The awakening world, the awakening world, the awakening world, the awakening nothing left to say, nothing left to do. Let your spirit shine, let your spirit through. Time is what we have, time to think anew. Let inspiration flow, let inspiration through. The awakening will, the awakening will, the awakening, the awakening will.
It's all Twinkle. I love that song. It's our new theme song.
It is beautiful.
Our new theme song.
I love it. Oh my
Love
God,
it.
are you here in Cali with us?
I'm currently in Colorado, but I'm a fluid being. I've been around the world like you have, and so
All
travel
right.
is nothing.
Missed you in Colorado. Dude, we're gonna do a remix of that too. We're gonna do an African remix of that.
I
don't
would
know if I
love
saw-
that.
Oh
I'd
my
totally
God, that
love
would be amazing.
All right,
Yeah.
me and you, Omashar, me and you.
I would love it, Antoinette.
just
Really,
leave me out.
truly.
All right, Pato, you can be a part of it too. All right, Pato, you can be a part of it. But I love
You
that.
can. I know. It's great chord structures. You know how songs sometimes just come. They don't take no effort. They just get birthed. This is one of those. So yeah.
I just wanted to say, Scott, it's just nice to see all of these beautiful faces in the Zoom call. You know, I've seen many of these faces on the call supporting the show, supporting us. And I just want to send much love to everybody that's here with us right now. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you.
I'm going to go to gallery view. Turn on your cameras, people. Look at these beautiful folks. Yeah. And I love watching them dance and move
Me
to the
too.
music. You know, it's just beautiful, isn't it? And we love all of you who don't have your cameras on as well. And we love all of you that are on Facebook who we can't see either. But gratitude and love for everybody who's watching. And you know, we can all just feel the spirit of Ubuntu. You know, we can feel it. It's very powerful. Yeah. You know, before the sex video, I actually want to share a little story that's kind of interesting. When I'm driving, I listen to Audible, and I always am listening to somebody's autobiography. And over the last few years, I've listened to Elton John, Phil Jackson, my favorite coach, Steve Young, my favorite football player. I just finished Jane Fonda, who I worked with for 11 years. And I always find it fascinating to be listening to the stories of these people, and it's their autobiography. Usually they're reading their own autobiography. And as fate would have it, I've been listening to, and I'm almost done with it now, a 19-hour autobiography by Michelle Obama. And she's a wonderful writer and a wonderful speaker. And the way she tells her story, she's always telling it from the point of view of her age as it's happening. Now, of course, we know as we're listening, she's going to become, you know, the first lady of the United States. But you're hearing her story as a little kid growing up in the South Side of Chicago, and then being, you know, all that her parents did to help her to succeed, and all the sacrifices they made, and she has no clue, you know, that she's going to have this thing happen. No clue at all. She's just a hardworking, you know, person who's really trying to fulfill the support that her parents are giving her. Her father had multiple sclerosis and literally worked until he died to support his family. Her mother was a stay-at-home mom, taking good care of her and her brother and sewing all of their clothes and the whole thing. And she's very smart. She's extremely well educated. She ended up going to Princeton and then Harvard Law. But even as she's running nonprofit organizations and working, you know, in a high-powered lawyer, you know, she has no idea she's going to become First Lady. And it's really interesting hearing her reality in, you know, at those times, having no idea. And it happened so fast. You know, I mean, in a period of 6 years, he went from being, you know, a state senator to president of the United States. It happened very, very, very fast. And I've been listening to that whole story, and I just drove back from Sedona, so I've had lots of time to listen to it. So I've been especially intrigued and reacquainted with the incredible story of Michelle and Barack Obama. And that's my lead in to a very brief little 2-minute video of Barack Obama, my favorite president of all time, speaking about tonight's topic, the spirit of Ubuntu.
And finally, Mandela understood the ties that bind the human spirit. There's a word in South Africa, Ubuntu. A word that captures Mandela's greatest gift. His recognition that we are all bound together in ways that are invisible to the eye. That there's a oneness to humanity. That we achieve ourselves by sharing ourselves with others and caring for those around us. We can never know how much of this sense was innate in him or how much was shaped in a dark and solitary cell. But we remember the gestures, large and small, introducing his jailers as honored guests at his inauguration, taking a pitch in a Springbok uniform, turning his family's heartbreak into a call to confront HIV/AIDS that revealed the depths of his empathy and his understanding. He not only embodied Ubuntu, he taught millions to find that truth within themselves. It took a man like Madiba to free not just the prisoner, but the jailer as well. To show that you must trust others so that they may trust you. To teach that reconciliation is not a matter of ignoring a cruel past, but a means of confronting it with inclusion and generosity and truth. He changed laws, but he also changed hearts.
Wow. Bringing up Pato and Antoinette, bring you back on, and
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful.
And thank you, because it's your commitment to bringing the spirit of Ubuntu to America, to our world, educating us. That's, I did not know this word a month ago, you know, and I'm sure I see some of our people did know it and some of our people didn't know it.
Mhm.
And so thank you for bringing this powerful word, and of course the vision that the word conjures
Yeah,
to us.
thank you.
I think this word is going to become like, we want to make it like a household word, so it's like, if, same thing like how when they made us ambassadors of the Golden Rule, when Musi did that, it's like we wanted to make the Golden Rule like a household word. And it was amazing that when we kept going around to all these different places and we asked people if they knew what the Golden Rule was, how many people actually don't know what the Golden Rule is. So you do have to go out there and explain it to people, but when you explain it to people, it's something that everybody can get down with and everybody can accept. And it was the same thing that we were sitting here talking about the good news, and the same thing with Ubuntu. So it's like, if we can't make everybody believe in one thing or another that might offend their diverseness or their personalities or their cultures or their race or whatever, what is the one thing that everybody can just jump on? The Golden Rule, the good news, Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is very simple, it's very easy, and they do have different names for it in other cultures. It's not like it's only an African thing. We see the Hawaiians have a term for it, in different cultures in Latin America or different places. Everybody has a certain term for it, which basically for me, I always think of it, it takes a village to raise a family. We can't do anything without anybody else. And I don't know why people have this mentality that I got here by myself. I got here, nobody else helped me, or I did this all by myself. I worked so hard. And it's like, wait a minute. It's like nothing ever comes about that way. And for anybody to sit there and think that, it's like they're kidding themselves. Even any major corporation or any entrepreneur, there's still a whole heap of people underneath it, that got them there and did that. So the sooner we can get everybody changing their mind and changing the way of thinking, the sooner we're going to start having some peace in our lifetime, some equity, some equality, some fairness, some love, some compassion, just better.
Beautiful. My God. Once again, let's just breathe that in. Thank you, Antoinette. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. All right. Next on our agenda is Ubuntu Reflections. So do you want to introduce this video?
Yes. So this one is after the first phase. I had this idea. I said, I want to go Facebook Live. I used to love going Facebook Live all the time before I got my diagnosis. It's like, because everybody's just starting to tune in. It's like, yeah, we're live here in Africa. We got some Wi-Fi, because that's the other thing. It's like getting Wi-Fi at a certain time is not always easy, but we got out there, and it was after we finished our first phase. So we were sitting out there, and it was a beautiful location, and we were just totally amazed by what we saw in Burundi. And
The whole trip.
the whole trip,
Uh-huh.
the whole trip. So we sat out there and just kind of gave a quick reflection about, what we saw in the first few countries. That's it.
Yeah, and basically you'll get a chance right now to meet the team, the
Yes.
Ubuntu team.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Well, greetings, everyone. This is Pato Banton along with the Ubuntu team. We have Ansa,
Yeah.
Antoinette Roots Data, Pato Banton, and Kudzai. So we're just going to do a quick recap of phase 1 to just talk about how we felt about this journey and any highlights. And I want to start with my brother Ansa.
Right.
Well, our journey started in Kenya. We went to Kenya. We went to some places in Kenya. It was really amazing. The hospitality there, the people, the culture. It was just a good experience. I really enjoyed it.
My coffee, let's clap. It's great having you. We look forward to doing a lot for humanity.
Yes.
Thank you.
Before perhaps you go, the one thing we believe in Lapid Leaders Africa is write your vision in big letters.
Yes.
Even though it may tally, it shall surely come to pass. May you write down your vision and may your stories be read all over the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to Uganda. We went to Uganda and we actually went to a church. Luckily it was Sunday. It was really amazing. Everyone, the church, and even Pato even gave a word. Yeah,
That was awesome.
It was really amazing, and he performed 2 of his songs there. It was really good. And then we moved on to Rwanda. We went to the school. The kids who were there, they were so amazing, so beautiful. I was really inspired by what was happening right there. And then lastly, we are here in Burundi. Yo, we just went to this place. It's a palace. It was really looking good. The people there, they were happy. I like the fact that the community, they worked.
What was the name of it?
Village Health Works.
Village Health Works.
Yeah, Village Health Works. The community, the way they worked together to build that place, it was really fascinating. I really didn't expect it when I got in Burundi. I had different expectations, but when I got there, I was amazed what they are building right there. That's the biggest thing I've ever seen from all the countries we have actually visited. I really enjoyed this trip. I'm passing to you, Antoinette.
All right.
Awesome. It's hard to pick like one favorite because as he said, that everything was so spectacular. When we got to Kenya, with the first school, but by the time we took that road to Katui County, that 4-hour drive to the village, and when the whole village came out, I mean, we're talking hundreds of people. The dancing and the ceremony and everything else is a welcome home party.
All right.
And I think one of the things I really loved about this whole journey too is the women that I've been meeting.
I'm walking power. I'm walking miracle. I live because I know who I am.
The women in Kenya, the women in Uganda, the women leading the organizations, you know, from the smallest organization to the largest organization, and where we ended up here in Burundi. I've got to say, Burundi really threw me by surprise too, because I was not expecting what he just said. It's a palace. This is, I mean, when we're talking about like health works, about a community that's like building together, coming together, I mean, they built everything together from scratch. The hospital, the school, the dormitories, the housing, the dwellings. The dwellings are even nicer than this hotel we're staying in. That place is just so fantastic. It's probably one of my favorite places. And definitely the village out there with Lillian is one of my favorite places too. I would come back out there. If I were to have a funeral, those guys are going to carry me. I want those guys at my going away party and stuff. But Ubuntu Phase 1 part of documentary, I mean, trust me guys, when you watch this and you see this, you're going to feel like you're right here in the experience with the rest of us. This place is amazing. You will always have family. They're welcoming everybody, no matter your color, your class, your creed, your race, your gender. These people are very loving and very welcoming.
Thank you, Antoinette. Kudzai.
Thank you very much, Pato. Well, if I'm to choose where to be born again, if I would get another chance to be born again, I would be born in Africa.
Yes.
Africa is a beautiful place. You know, there's a perception that you get when you go to the internet to look for some of those countries in Africa. But the moment you step off your feet in Benin, Rwanda, Burundi, it's spectacular. This continent is beautiful, full of beautiful people, smiling, happy people, welcoming, and the stories that we got in the field were so life-changing. Sometimes we'll be just holding the camera and smiling at the same time, you know, because the stories are so powerful and so life-changing. The smiles that you'd get from people who are receiving little help, so much genuine smiles, so much happy smiles. And I think as Africans and as Black Africans, we have a lot of work to do to showcase the potential of our own continent here in Africa. Thank you, Pato.
Thank you, Kudzai.
Yeah.
I just want to second what everyone here has said. I have so many thoughts, so many reflections, but the documentary will show our journey and our experience. I want to say thank you so much to Esther from the Lapid Leaders.
Lapid Leaders.
I want to say thank you to her mother Mary from St. John's School.
St. John's Academy.
We want to say thank you to Pastor Bishop from the Urantia Church in Uganda. Thank you to Samuel, Gangster Samuel, all the way in Ginger too. We want to say thank you to our sister Alpha.
Discovery School.
International. For a great experience with you and the children. Thank you to Deo, who blew our mind.
He's a genius.
In Burundi. Village Health Works is a beautiful complex, is a village of itself. And the hospital and the school and the accommodations, everything there is so dynamic. We will be coming back to Burundi to visit our awesome family here. So thank you again to Kudzai, to Antoinette. Thank you again to my brother Ansa. This team is amazing. I'm so comfortable with this team that we have. Everyone has a great responsibility. We all know our different roles. We work together very well. And phase one to me has been a blessing. It's been very successful. You know, the only issues we had was at the airport in Burundi. That's another story. But apart from that, we love Burundi. Burundi is a beautiful country. They just need to step up with their progress, but they will get there eventually. They have the resources, so all they need now is some time. So the spirit of Ubuntu is alive in Africa. We have witnessed it ourselves. And during phase 2 and phase 3, we will continue to 8 more African countries to document the spirit of Ubuntu. Until then, peace. Ubuntu!
Ubuntu! Yeah, so if we organize an Ubuntu trip, you're signing up. All right, I am organizing Ubuntu trips to Africa. You know, in fact, after that time, because that was the other thing that this is our first documentary on Ubuntu, but I know a lot of people shoot a lot of documentaries. But for us personally, because of who we are, it's not like we can just go and meet somebody and then that's it. And it's like, bye, we're done, you know, move on to somebody else or something. Every person that we meet becomes family within our life. You know, when we saw Quadro again on this Ubuntu trip, we didn't see him during the pandemic, but from the first time that we met him from Facebook, he's been our family ever since. And so that's the same thing with the people. Why, you know, we're continuing our work. It wasn't just to shoot the documentary, but it was also to show our ongoing commitment, you know, to help continue our work with them, and also new people who are also trying to learn the Ubuntu way of doing things. So, and like I said, I've been amazed because I can actually see, you know, what you've done with the retreat in Sedona, what we are planning to do with Identia, which will be another show. We'll come back onto your show and tell you all about what we're going to do with our 31 acres of land in Southern California, Identia. And I'm telling you, I got so inspired by everything that we saw in Africa and by the way that they were doing things. It made me see and understand we can do the same thing here. That hospital that you just saw, those people built that. You know, when you see the marble, the village, and the people coming together, they didn't all know how to do it. You know, they had to bring in like somebody, and they made some mistakes along the way. Remember, because they got to knock out some walls because they did some things. But it was just like the whole spirit of cooperation of everybody coming together to sit there and build that. When you see this place, the whole property, like all the buildings, the structures, the plants, the food, everything is done by everybody in the community. That is really amazing. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
When I was in Sedona, one of my things that I was doing there after my retreat was I was hosting and moderating films for the Illuminate Film Festival. And the film that actually won the audience award was called Ama's Way. And it was all about the people in India and what they've created around Amachi, the hugging saint. Same thing you're talking about. They've created huge universities, hospitals. They're providing 6,000 to 10,000 meals a day, free of charge. 6,000, and Amma serves it. They've got this whole assembly line, and so everybody gets it blessed. 6,000 meals. Hand it to her, and she's like, everybody gets their own personally blessed by Amma meal every day, right? It's incredible what people can do when they when they come together with people like yourselves, leading the way, providing the inspiration, providing the goal. Look at, I mean, right now, everybody wants to go to Africa with you.
That
People are ready-
hospital, we want to go and do a concert. That's why we told them we were coming, because we want to do a concert, because his place it's way out there in the sticks and boondocks. When I tell you it's way out there in the sticks and boondocks, and he said that he was building this hospital and they wanted him to build that hospital in the city. He said, no, you guys are going to have to come where these people are
and build a
road and get there. If you want the first state-of-the-art hospital that's going to do its first autopsy, you're going to have to come here and get it. So that's why they're building this road down there. And this pavilion, he made it for women. That the way that it's shaped, it was the two hearts coming together as one. The whole design and the concept and everything. He said, these women need dignity. Get them out of these tents. And I was like, oh my gosh, this place is nicer. It doesn't matter if you're the gardener, if you're the doctor, you're getting the same beautiful accommodations, you know, the same. Everybody is getting the same equal love and treatment, no matter what your skill set level or anything, and the way they're treated. I'm like, this is a philosophy that everybody should be learning.
That's right. That's right. Well, again, I want to encourage, if people haven't put in money yet, please do so. And our last video of the evening, introduce this to us. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see. A welcoming party for Pato and Antoinette. Tell us about this.
All right. So this was really fascinating too, because like I said, the story of the Jane campaign, as I'm doing our social justice work here in America, took a whole nother level when we told her that we were going to Uganda. And it was a few years ago that we were supporting this particular orphanage. And the way that it is that these girls are at-risk girls. There's a huge problem for girls in Africa. And this is young girls, you know, they don't have the same protections. And when it comes to certain things, like whether it's rape or incest or certain sexual abuse or certain sexual things that's, you know, atrocities that are done to girls, it's always put, the blame is on the girls. And then when that happens, they become outcasts of society. So that's the reason why I really love Lillian, because she understood, she'd been through that, and she understands what it means to sit there and take another girl that nobody else is thinking about or caring about. When you invest in these girls, what I love about this place is that these girls become somebody. They know that they are somebody. They're not just another mouth to feed, but they're someone that can contribute to life and to humanity. And when they're able to grow with that kind of love and compassion, they become great citizens of the world. And these same women are the ones that are leading Africa. And that's why I sit there and say, let's build and invest in these girls and give them the kind of love and compassion, know that they can be something and do something. So when we actually got there, we did not know that they had all this plan. And so they stopped us. We're like, okay, so we're here, and they planned this welcome party for us.
And the beauty of this is that Jane, we live in a town called Lake Elsinore in California. And Jane moved out here so she could be closer to us.
Because it takes a village to raise a family.
So we could help her with her autistic son. And she traced her roots back to Uganda and Rwanda.
Found her mother.
And so once we started the Ubuntu journey, she said she wanted to come and join us on the trip once we got to Rwanda and Uganda. So we organized her trip, her flights and her hotel. We met her in Uganda, and we traveled in a safari truck across
from Rwanda
across the border from Rwanda into Uganda,
and stayed in Wakanda.
Stayed at the Wakanda Hotel.
Yeah.
And she came with us to this Grace Villa. She was the one that actually introduced us to them originally. So it was like a homecoming for her too. And when we got there, we did not know what to expect. So what everyone is going to see is the welcoming party once we arrived at Grace Villa.
And also when we took this drive, because you know, if you guys are following me on Facebook, I have this whole album on the Ubuntu documentary where I'm dropping all these behind the scenes and clips. But we're driving for hours. That was the road that her mother walked down for hours, for days, pregnant with her
To
mother
escape.
out of, this is from in the 60s, from the genocide from back then, from the war back then. So we're still discovering her story. We're going to be unfolding it and unraveling it as we continue and stuff. So check it out.
All right, here we go.
So say the name of the hill.
Makanga Hill. That means welcome, welcome.
Remember that for a while.
Thank you, thank you. That was very beautiful. You made me very happy.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're going back over there. Like I said, you know, anybody who wants to come with us on the Rwanda, Uganda, Wakanda excursion, you know, we're going to do that. That was a lot
When
of
do you
fun.
think that'll be? Do you have a sense of when that'll actually be?
Yeah, so we're hoping to do, so the documentary, what their plan is, they wanted to air it at the Parliament of World's Religion. So we're waiting to hear about that. And also that should be the time when the hospital should be finished.
It will be
in Burundi.
fall of next year.
Around the fall. That'll give people time to save money. You know, we'll set up an Eventbrite. They can start saving money. They can start making their down payments and everything.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, Rwanda is very safe flying into, going into Uganda was easy peasy, you know, and where we stayed in Wakanda. When I say that we stayed in Wakanda, we really did stay in Wakanda because it turns out right around the corner from Gates Villa is where they shot the movie, The Black Panther, you know, that whole thing where it looks like Hobbit World and stuff like that.
Right?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
So
And
beautiful.
it's right there. in
Wow.
Uganda and Rwanda.
Wow. Well, let's do it. Global Peace Tribe is going to Africa with Pato and Antoinette in the fall.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. I'm committing to that.
Do this.
And I want to thank the people. We're going to wrap up in a moment, but I want to thank the people who donated. This may not be everyone, but I see, thank you, Mark Denisovsky, Christine Tulk, Donna Martine, Janet Catalina, beloved brother, Wild Monk, Jerry Anderson, the Spirit at Work Sanctuary, and anyone else who's donated that we didn't get that name yet, because it takes a little bit for it to come through. Thank you so much. Please continue to donate. I've put it into the chat box a few times. And I also want to ask us to take a moment and for us to pray and send our blessings to Pato and especially Antoinette, who is got this healing journey that she's on. So let's all just in our hearts, maximum grace for Pato and Antoinette and the Spirit of Ubuntu. Maximum grace for Pato and Antoinette and the Spirit of Ubuntu. Maximum grace for Pato and Antoinette and the Spirit of Ubuntu. There are some of your Global Peace Tribe friends sending you love, blessings, appreciations. We love you and respect you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. This was
Thank
a
you.
great.
And trust me,
Great show.
your donations are not wasted. They're going to help people. And one of the things that I really love about Grace as well too, those T-shirts, those hoodies, those kids make those. The kids make their clothes. The kids, you know, they've got their business going and stuff like that. It's very beautiful.
All right. Well, we're going to close, as always, with an Omushar song. I do want to remind people that tomorrow's going to be a really beautiful Sacred Sunday show. Deborah Justy's coming back on, once every 3 months or so. She co-hosts with me. And of course, she's going to co-host because it's going to be the Twin Ray with us live. And boy, what a weekend of beautiful, inspirational couples. John and Summer last night, Pato and Antoinette tonight, and tomorrow, the Twin Ray. So definitely join us. That's tomorrow at 10 a.m. And always keep an eye out, all of you that have registered, you're on our email list. So on Mondays, we send out the email. And keep an eye out because you'll get the replay for tonight's show. You're going to want to share it out. Let's really share the replay of tonight's show out to our friends and family so that more and more people are aware of this incredible documentary, the incredible work that Pato and Antoinette are doing. And I see several of you are going to start going to their Wednesday night Urantia book class. So that's very, very cool.
It's so fun.
Yeah. And what time is that on Wednesday nights?
6 p.m. PST.
6 p.m. Pacific time.
Wednesday at 6 p.m., Sundays at 10 a.m.
I'm telling you, when you get a Pato breakdown, the whole universe just opens up.
I bet. And how long is the class on Wednesday nights?
2 hours. And
2 hours, 6 till 8. Okay, good to know.
it's not a
And then-
class, it's an interactive session. You know, everybody has to
It's an
participate.
interactive study.
So it's like a study group,
Yeah.
group. Yeah. All right. Please put the link to it back in again. Karen's
I will
asking.
put that back
that.
in.
And I will turn it over to beloved brother Omoshar.
Wow, what a blessing, Pato and Antoinette. And that last video, I was just, as I saw in the chat, just brought me to tears, because we don't realize there's so much life happening that we're unaware of. And thank you for educating me. I don't have any words. I'm speechless. It's beautiful. I just feel more whole after having witnessed this evening that we all shared. And so let's do something here and get all funky and get trippy here. There we go. And up here.
Brighter than the sun. Here where life is one. All the past falls like rain into the soil of future dreams. Still, we wonder why flowers keep on blooming, stardust in our eyes, lift us all to a higher plane, a deeper truth, our rightful place, and still we wonder why. Life, a promise to fulfill. Now, a vision is revealed, and the blessing of who we really are can be felt throughout our world, and still we wonder why flowers keep on blooming, the stardust in our eyes lifts us all to a higher plane, a deeper truth, our rightful place, and still we wonder why. Light, brighter than the sun. here where life is one. Life, a promise to fulfill. Now, a vision is revealed. And still we wonder why.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, beloved brother Omashar. And remember, everybody, we can get his stuff by going to omashar.com and to omashar.bandcamp.com. That's how we can get all things Omashar. Thank you, brother. See you tomorrow morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Are we doing Sri and Kara in the morning?
I'm not too sure. Apparently, we are appearing via Ecuador at 10 o'clock Pacific time with Sri and Kira. I have yet to...
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Pacific time.
Oh, 9 o'clock. Excuse me. That's right. I'm
Pacific time. Sri and Kira. 10 o'clock Sacred Sunday show, or 10 o'clock you can also do Pato and Antoinette's study group. So always lots of things happening.
Yes.
Much love to all of you. I'm going to go to gallery view one last time, everybody. So smile, and there you are.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank
Oh,
you.
Pato, Antoinette, thank you for such a beautiful, beautiful show.
Beautiful night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reverend
Thank you, everyone. We love you guys.
Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Thanks, Omashar. Let's make that remix.
Please, I'd love to. Yes.
Afrobeat Awakening World song.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.